Hello, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are, everyone. It's the second episode for FTI Current Events. I said hang live stream. So we're going to be talking about current events in the stream, and as well, I'm Cole Kruper. You can follow me on Twitter at CK270. We got a bunch of interesting stuff to discuss in this hangout here today in the next 60 minutes. So, Jason.
Hi guys, I am the owner of Future Tech Ideas, Jason Goyette. You can follow me at Jason Goyette on Twitter. Also,
Erwin?
be sure to check out Future Tech Ideas.
Erwin?
So hi guys, I'm Erwin. I'm from the Netherlands. You can find my Twitter down below. I'm the FTI team member. So let's start it.
Okay, so let's jump into this here. So I guess we're just going to the topics now, I guess. So first thing in the news is scientists were able to create false memories in the brains of lab mice. Now, in a recent development, scientists were able to create false memories in lab mice. The researchers were able to use a technique that activated neurons in the brain to train the mice to remember a painful experience in a different way than it actually occurred. So basically, they created false memories, and the brain then treated these false memories as real, true memories and stored them in the same place. Now that this is now a possibility with mice, how long before we can do it with humans? Now this does set a little bit of a milestone. It does give you an idea of how you could do it with humans, although we already do have false memories, which has been shown in court cases and stuff. And if you paid attention to that. Now, basically what they did is last year, before they did the current study this year, what they did is they had mice in one chamber, and they shocked their feet, okay? And then they were genetically engineered with certain cells, they were neurons that were light sensitive. So then what they did is they put them into a second chamber and shined a blue light on the cells. The mice then reacted as if they were in the first chamber. Now, this year, what they did is they put mice into the first chamber, allowed them to explore, do whatever they needed to do without any shocks, and then they were transferred to a second chamber in which they were shocked, and then they had the light shone on them as well. And then when they were returned to the first chamber, they acted as if they had been shocked in the first chamber. So they believe that they were able to create false memories in mice, and that could be something that could lead into creating false memories in humans. But as I said, it can as well happen in humans naturally as well. Which you do see in court cases, some people do believe that they have seen something, heard something that never actually happened because they seen something else at the same time that led them to believe that when something else actually happened. So Jason, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts is this topic, this whole experiment with the brain and changing your memory is very scary, and to talk about it, it just sends goosebumps up my spine, because for it to be able to introduce it into the human brain and be able to do this, I mean, frankly, I believe this could be possibly happening right now as we speak. It could be happening already. We just don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, like that story you published a while ago about having a dream about something, and then the kid wakes up and realizes it was only a dream and it wasn't real, and then come to find out it was real, and he gets freaked out about it. But
yeah,
I mean, that's similar. It's kind of like you have a dream that you know really happened, but you think it didn't happen. Like, it's like a false dream or something. Mm-hmm. like you wrote there in your little story. But yeah, it freaked me out when you sent this article to me. I was like freaking out about it.
Yeah, and what it does is it sets a precedent for what you could do with humans.
Yes.
You very well could do that in humans. Where do these studies usually start on? They usually start with lab mice, rats,
and then go up
pigs, cows, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They test on those, and then they work their way up to bigger animals and eventually to humans.
Yeah.
So it could very well eventually happen in humans, and if that it does become a possibility, and that technology and ability does get into the wrong hands, imagine where that could go.
Imagine the implications of that. I mean, being able to create a memory, like say you have a good memory, or say you have a memory of, okay, say somebody, I'm going to go into a little conspiracy realm here real quick. Let's say somebody's out, just sitting, and all of a sudden there's a bomb goes off, and they can't find the suspect. So they go ahead and just create a false memory in somebody who's sitting off to the side, and it makes them look like they're the person who set the bomb off, because they have a false memory of them actually going in there and doing the bomb when they really didn't do it.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is it could put the wrong people in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
which
There you
already
go.
happens without,
Yeah.
well, false
Without.
memories. And like I
Yep.
said, false memories do occur naturally.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
has happened in the past. It does come out in court cases quite
Yeah.
often. In some cases, it makes some people's testimony totally useless because it's a false memory.
Yeah, but don't forget,
go ahead,
Yeah,
Erwin.
let Erwin go ahead now.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this, Erwin?
don't forget that technology goes far, and I don't think that we even know how far they are. Like, if they can do this, like take false memories into mice, that goes far, right?
Well, what
So
else can they do is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
What else haven't they told you, right?
they can be so far right now, and with those things that I don't think that we can imagine that what they can do.
Yeah. And think about this. Now, in the 90s, cloning humans was made illegal. And who's to say somebody didn't try it? They could definitely do things and not tell you about it, even though they aren't supposed to.
Yeah.
And false memories.
Creating these monsters, these weird little monsters that we've never seen before. That all of a sudden appears on the beach or whatever.
Yeah, and it does have you.
Montauk monster. The Montauk monster. I
Yeah,
believe it's
and it
called.
does have its uses in humans, and they're eventually
Yeah.
going to have to test it in humans, and some people are going to say that, hey, this
Yep.
isn't right. And that's the same
Right.
thing that happened with cloning humans in the 90s, because they said, is this humane? Because you're cloning humans, but are the clones still humans? 'Cause what are they going to do with the clones? I think they were going to kill them. So obviously some people said no, that's not humane, and that's why it was made illegal in the 90s. But it could still be done. Scientists, they have a lot of power, a lot of resources at their hands. So
absolutely.
if they can make false memories, what else can they make, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. Yes. What else are they doing that they're not telling us?
I totally agree with them.
Yeah.
Like how did they get to this point? Like they come up with, let's make false memories today. Like what do you think that could be used for in society? Like what could they use that in a real world application? Jason?
For good or for bad?
Let's start with good, and then we can look at the bad side of that. So what do you think they could do with it?
For good, I believe a traumatic past event, like say something happened in your past and it's very traumatic to you and it caused you depression, they could maybe make that experience, totally different and allow you to not live with that experience or not have that memory of that experience. Because there's a lot of stuff that people have a hard time getting over, and being able to wipe that memory out and replace it with something good, I think that's a good application for that.
Yes.
For sure. Erwin, what do you think they could do with it that could have a good application in society?
Yeah, well, what Jason said, it's really true. I'm going with Jason that when people have bad times or just have awful memories about the past, if you can remove that, then yeah, that would be good. But the bad things about it are.
We'll get into that in a minute here. We'll come back to that. What I'm going to say here now is, so basically you're saying it could help with things like post-traumatic stress, people coming back from, let's say, a war or something.
Yeah, maybe, yes.
A traumatic event even at home.
Yes, that would be a good thing to use it for.
For sure. Now, I totally agree with you on that one. There's a lot of good things that you could do with it. Like dealing with post-traumatic stress or something traumatic in somebody's life. But there's probably a lot of bad things you could do with it, and Jason did touch on that a little bit with saying that they could implicate somebody in a crime or whatever when they didn't actually do it, but their mind tells them that they did do it even though they didn't. So, Jason, actually, no, let's start with Erwin. Erwin, what do you think on that one? What could be bad?
Yeah, that could be a thing that maybe work for criminals, but yeah, if they just keep the technology with the government, then they maybe can hack it. But I don't think that shouldn't give the technology away. Also,
yes, absolutely. I agree
but who's to say the government would use it correctly? Because a lot of people don't have very much faith in their governments.
Yes.
It would be on the black market in a heartbeat. That technology would be right just like that on the black market.
And then you got a huge problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
like guns, you're supposed to register them and such.
Yep.
But just
look at all the guns. Yeah, look at all the guns out there that are unregistered.
And there's 300 million guns in the U.S. and that's just registered ones.
Yeah, registered, exactly. That's way too many, I believe. But I'm not saying we should get rid of guns. I'm just saying that we should follow the laws and abide by them. But there's people always out there that are never going to do that. So to bring something like this technology into play, into real world applications, is something very, very big and very scary, because who's going to get a hold of it? I mean, what if one of our enemies, overseas gets a hold of it? They're probably going to make something of their own eventually. But what if they get a hold of it, and start using it on us, or using it on visitors? Okay, they go ahead and send somebody over to England or somewhere, and implement that into somebody who's visiting England from the United States,
Well,
and then that person goes back to the United States and then does something because they have a false memory.
well, listen here. Basically, that could be a weapon of war.
Yeah,
Much
a
like
weapon of war.
biological weapons are, and guns and missiles. Maybe back in ancient days, cannons, arrows.
Yeah.
It's just a better and better way, and it's a really simple thing. It sounds like obviously it's kind of hard to do what they did, but they're going to eventually perfect it. Everything starts out rough, and it gets better.
And it builds up over time.
Look at the first automobile, and look at the current ones. Look at the first TV. Look at the current TVs. Everything has to start somewhere, and it gets progressively better over time. And the same thing could very well happen with this, although depending on how it's used, it may not be better.
Yep.
Better in one sense, but worse in another.
Exactly. Good and bad.
Do you think it is a technology that we actually need, Jason?
Absolutely not. We do not need it. We do not need it. Absolutely not.
Like maybe for treating post-traumatic stress disorders
but at the moment, with our government and the secrecy and the way mankind is now, the violence, violent behavior we have.
It's in our nature to be violent.
Yeah, but I mean, think of how they could use that now.
For sure.
I mean, I bring that into the society or the civilization later on, when we're more refined, if you will, of a human species. If we're more refined and more intelligent about using technology that could possibly kill us, instead of just going about, oh yeah, I'm just going to go and do this or do that with it. And
well, yeah, like look at the drones there in the Middle East. They'll kill 300 civilians to get one terrorist.
Yeah, exactly.
How is that good?
How is that logical? That is not logical.
Those 300 civilians you just killed didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
They're innocent people,
but
they justify that with the one terrorist.
Unbelievable.
So
unspeakable is what it is.
And then obviously the U.S. for a lot of people in that part of the world isn't very well liked. I wonder why.
Yeah. Maybe because we create devices and technology, things like this, like controlling our minds.
The drones, sure, it's a safe way to do it for them.
Yeah.
Sure, you're not having the casualties that you would if you actually sent the people in. But is it morally responsible? Is it right?
No. I believe it's not.
Innocent people.
Look at all the scandals they had in Afghanistan and a little bit towards the end of Iraq with the drone strikes. All the innocent. Oh no, we accidentally got the wrong person. We actually accidentally shot a whole family a cab.
But one terrorist.
Trying to escape.
That's what they do.
I could never imagine destroying or killing a 5-year-old child.
Well, what does that do to your? What does that do to your? What would that do to you? Like that would be on your conscience forever.
That would. But there's people out there built to forget it and say it's for my country, and they do it. They'll do it in a
certain wars. Sure. There was 9/11, and terribly sad what happened then.
Yes, absolutely.
But are they really launching a huge attack on the country? No,
it wasn't. Sure. It wasn't. It wasn't a huge attack like, say, invasion.
Yeah, sure, there's these terror cells and sure, they should be dealt with.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful with what you deal with.
And not only that, terrorists are not in one place. It's not one country you're fighting. You're fighting everywhere. So you got to get permission to go in and bomb and blow up stuff.
They didn't quite get permission all the time. They don't quite get permission all the time. What country was Bin Laden in? I don't remember.
Osama bin Laden, not Kazakhstan, not Afghanistan, Kabul. I don't know. I forget. Which one is it?
Iran.
It wasn't Iran. What's that?
Afghanistan.
Right there.
Iraq.
No.
He was found
Libya. I think Libya.
Pakistan.
Okay, Pakistan.
Pakistan,
I
right?
was thinking that, but I wasn't sure. Now, the government there wasn't all that too impressed with the U.S. because they just kind of came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when they
Yeah, did they do what they should have? Yeah, that should have been dealt with. That's just fine.
when they announced it to the government of Pakistan, they wouldn't allow the US to get in. They will say like, we will do it, we will do it, we will get the fame of it. So
Yeah.
I think the US did a good job to get it, kill the guy,
And get out.
back and just throw it in the sea. I think they did
Yeah.
good.
I think they threw his body in the ocean, but they recovered it later
Well,
on.
apparently they threw it in the ocean. Apparently that's tradition. I think I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They
I believe they recovered it.
in the ocean, but I think they still got the body.
Yeah, I believe they recovered it after. I think
It's
Obama wanted it.
possible that some little guy, age of like an 8-year-old kid, finds a body on the beach. Like, this is Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
The kid would be scarred for life.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Just think, you dump him in the middle of the ocean. If it ever does wash up,
Yeah.
that would be a horrific sight.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Anyways, I think we
salt,
should move.
The salt eating the skin. Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. And who knows what would happen? I don't want to know what would happen, to be quite honest.
No.
I
Yeah,
would
that's what would happen. It
Yeah.
would be a gruesome sight.
It would be.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be the person to find it. But
Sorry
back to our original
about
topic.
this. If you want more information about this, I think you should see the movie Zero Dark 30.
Yep, that's a good movie.
It's a great movie, an awesome movie. It gives you a lot of information about the whole event of Osama bin Laden, and not just that day, but from the beginning, from 9/11 and before that. So that was an interesting movie. So I would recommend it to everybody. So
For sure.
All right, guys.
Anyways, back to our original topic. Like I was saying, false memories may be just too much power.
Yeah, way too much power.
Ever. Anyways, moving on to the next topic. Recent court ruling could stifle creators of realistic fiction. Anyone that writes fiction, depending on the type of work, may strive for a sense of realism in their work, as do I in some of my writing. Now, it can really have to relate to it, but a recent court ruling could stifle realism in fiction when describing celebrities in fiction, and this also includes movies, TV shows, stuff like that, okay? Basically any type of content. Now, many pieces of writing depict real people, and so do movies, such as a recent movie called The Social Network. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's the one that's about Mark Zuckerberg. Now, according to this recent court ruling, the creators of that movie could actually be sued for depicting Mark Zuckerberg in the movie. And if you depict a celebrity in your writing, a movie, whatever it is, you could technically also be sued, because apparently it infringes upon, let's see here, infringes on their right of publicity, which is basically a right to privacy for celebrities. They really could sue anyone that really does write about them, depicts them in any realistic way. As long as it's realistic and you describe them. And according to the story that I read, apparently you don't even need to use their name. If it sounds like them, they could technically sue you. Now, personally, I think it would be free speech to be able to use something like that in your story. But I guess the courts don't agree with that. Erwin, what do you think of that? Do you think it's free speech, or do you think it is a celebrity's right to sue you if you describe them in your writing, movies, videos, whatever it is, in a realistic fashion?
Yeah, I think if they accept it, or if they ask the celebrities to, can I use your name in the movie, or can I use a part of you? Then maybe if they say yes, you can, or no, I won't allow you to do that. So they have to ask the celebrity, the person, to ask, like, can we do it or can't we do it?
And I agree with you on that to an extent. But if let's say you're writing a story, and you're who knows where, and you see a celebrity in the street, that's it, and you describe what they look like. Is that such a dangerous thing? Or you're describing what you've seen on the TV in the story.
No, you just have the right to do it. I
So
think.
but you see what I mean. For just one paragraph, you see the celebrity. You don't talk to them. You just see it and you describe what you see.
Yes.
How is that bad? I could see asking for permission if you're using the celebrity as the main character in the story,
Yeah.
and you're having them do something that's, could harm their reputation. Obviously, they're probably not going to want you to do it anyways, but obviously you're using them as a main character, then it could harm their reputation, and they might want to know about it. But if you're just seeing them on the side of the street in the story, it's not really hurting them. See what I'm
No.
getting at here?
No.
No, yeah, I think.
So I think it depends on what context you use their likeness in the story or a movie or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like a movie like The Social Network, it pretty much is centered right around Mark Zuckerberg. So I'm sure he was involved in that movie to some capacity. I'm not sure, but I'm sure he had something to do with it, whether it be little or whatever it was.
I think they'd remove like all the scandal stuff. Like if a celebrity has something bad about them, and a movie tries to depict that, they probably wouldn't have permission to use that or be able to produce a movie because, being kind of bashing a celebrity in a movie or portraying a celebrity as a bad type of person or alcoholic or a drug addict or something like that. They would probably say, nope, I'm not going to do it.
The only time you can do that in your writing is when it isn't fiction and it's actually reality, and you're writing some sort of non-fiction article and something that's actually happening.
Yeah. But I mean, I've seen plenty of books out there that portray, and movies out there that portray actors in a bad way.
And that's sometimes where you have to be careful when you're writing a story whether you should use a real thing or not.
Exactly.
Like, let's say you have a character that works for the store, and you bash that store into the ground, and you make it look like the worst place in the planet.
Yep.
Now, that's not good for the store.
Absolutely.
Now,
not.
if it's fact, whatever, if true story, opinion, whatever, yeah, it's fine. But if you're bashing, because in the story people might get it mixed up, a bunch of things can happen, so it's not good. If you're gonna bash a store or something real in a story, make up a fake name, make up a fake person.
But listen, what happens in the future when something like this, like you write about something, a character that's fictional or whatever, and then all of a sudden this person gets born and he's real and he creates all this stuff and it's a real person. Now, do you have to take down or give all the profits you made over to that person, or
I don't know, because think about this: if the person was born after, then the content was created before he was born.
Yep.
So why should that have anything to do with him?
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, if it portrays a character in a bad way.
Jason, if somebody wrote a story about you in 1861,
yeah,
would you want to know about it now? Would you want all the money from it?
Personally, no, but there's actors out there that would. Because
think about it, the story didn't really have anything to do with you because when the story was written, you didn't exist.
Yeah. But if they're portraying me as the name, as everything about me is what they're saying. Everything about this person.
Technically, Jason, because you didn't exist at the time of writing and publishing, then it's still a fictional character.
Yeah, exactly. But is it fictional to them because it's portraying?
It really don't matter because it really shouldn't matter. Like they might try and fight, but I don't think they would win on that one because it was published before they even existed.
Well, that's a plausible argument. I agree.
See what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I get that. That's plausible.
No, they shouldn't have any rights to it except buying the book in the store.
But what if? So you're saying even if somebody writes a book.
You're gone.
I think he is. Anyways, Erwin, why don't you pick up on that one?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, okay, good.
What happened?
You froze right up.
Oh, yeah. Could you hear me talking though?
No.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Let's try that again.
Yeah, I think I got this going. Alrighty. I'm here. I'm good. Can you hear me?
Continue.
Oh, I don't know if you could hear me or not. But let's say I write a book about you right now. Now, would you be opposed to me if I described your children or somebody that you are close to, or like like I said, your children
Look,
or your
if you
wife.
were able to describe somebody's children of the future,
Yeah.
with any detail
The name,
accuracy,
the date,
if
everything.
you were able to do it with any degree of accuracy,
Yeah.
it would be pure luck.
Exactly.
Because
There's pure luck. There's luck out there now.
There's no science to it. You can't prove it. So basically, it was just luck. It was your imagination, and it was chance that happened to exist. But it's still a fictional character because it was written before those people existed.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that. Like in today's, with somebody that already exists right now with celebrities, I can see their point on it because it could damage reputation if it's written a certain way.
Yeah, like
I think it depends how you use them. If you're only using them for a short part of it, but if you're going to base a story on them, base a movie on them, I think it would be best to consult with them.
Yeah, consult with them, get their permission, get their signature, get their manager to sign it, whoever manages their crap and their stuff, whatever. Get them to take care of it and sign it, because I don't think a big
because you're not going to win the lawsuit.
Yeah, no sir. You're definitely gonna win that.
Unless you got a bus full of lawyers.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking they passed this law, right? What's gonna happen to all the movies like Mark Zuckerberg movie? What's gonna happen to all them? Like Social Network and all that. What's gonna happen to those?
I don't believe they should be able to do anything about it because they were made before the law existed.
Okay, yeah.
Remember that. Let's say you did something, you made a movie, wrote a story before such a law existed. You shouldn't have to get rid of everything because all of a sudden it exists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I got you.
So, Erwin, you got anything else to say on that?
No, I think it's clear right now.
And Jason, are we good to go?
We are good to go.
Okay, moving on to more of a tech story here. Let's take a look here. Jeez, I haven't used paper in a long time. I haven't used paper more often. But anyways, Starbucks has partnered with Google and will bring much faster internet speeds to their coffee shops. So basically what they're doing is partnering with Google, and what they're going to be doing is going to be bringing Google Internet. They're going to be providing internet to all 7,000 U.S. Starbucks locations. Now, they recently announced this, and Google, along with a company called Level 3 Communications, will be providing Wi-Fi at its U.S. locations. The rollout is expected to take 18 months, starting at new locations and then to the other 7,000 locations, with the busiest locations making the switch first. And currently, Starbucks is wired with a T1 line for 1.5 megabits, and what a T1 line basically is, it's mainly used in businesses and organizations for internet access, and it can be somewhat costly. And these lines were developed in the 1960s by AT&T. So they've been around for a while. Anyways, the internet speeds that Google is to offer is expected to be about 10 times faster than the current internet connection offered at Starbucks. Now, although this can vary at times, it's supposed to be at least 10 times faster than what they currently offer. So it's supposed to take about 18 months, so just under 2 years to roll out this new service to all of its 7,000 U.S. Starbucks locations. I'm hoping to see that maybe one day come to Canada. Yeah. So, Erwin, what do you think of that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is more like Jason's topic because I'm not living in the U.S.
But what do you think about it? Let's say you were in the U.S. What do you think about that? Like, what's your perspective all the way out in Holland?
It's awesome because I'm going to Starbucks a lot, so I would enjoy the free Wi-Fi, but it's like bad over here. But the free Wi-Fi Google provides, I think it's a good thing. And you see over here, some cities are having Wi-Fi hotspots. So through the whole city, you have free Wi-Fi access, and I love free Wi-Fi access. So I think it's a good thing that Google does.
Yeah, we're kind of getting Wi-Fi access throughout the city here too. A company called Shaw is bringing out Wi-Fi throughout the city here, so that is a neat idea as well. With citywide Wi-Fi, but no, what Starbucks is doing is neat. Sadly, here in Canada, I won't get it, and sounds like you in Holland will definitely not be getting it anytime soon.
No.
Unfortunately for you, and unfortunately for me.
Yes.
So, Jason, what do you think of that story? considering
think,
you're the only one in the
yeah,
U.S. here.
yeah. I would love this. You know what? I'm gonna get a tent and I'm gonna pitch a tent outside of Starbucks and just sleep all night outside of Starbucks on my Wi-Fi with 10 times speed,
Well, it
faster
could,
than everybody else.
yeah.
But it
You
varies.
know,
Like I said, if they said it varies, so
yeah.
I'm not sure what the ratio is gonna be. Whether it's gonna be so many out of 100 or so many out of 1,000 stores are gonna have crap Wi-Fi or better Wi-Fi than
Well,
10.
it's
Let's
gonna
think of it.
depend.
They're gonna. They said it may vary. It may be higher than 10 times faster, or maybe lower.
Well,
So
well,
that
here's
that's
what's
a
gonna cause it to vary. Okay, think
okay.
about this. It's gonna depend on how many people are using the connection at
Yep.
once. It's gonna depend on location
Yep.
as well, because some areas are generally going to have slower internet connections. Those are going to be the two main things that are going to slow it down, especially the amount of users and the router that they're using. I'm sure Google will take care of that. So it all depends on those factors, and if the infrastructure itself is ready to keep up with however many people may be using it at one time.
Yeah. Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, now I wonder if Dunkin' Donuts is gonna get into all this and all the other coffee shops because they're competing. So everyone's gonna flood to Starbucks because they have better Wi-Fi. They're gonna be in their
Some
little
people
they're gonna
will, and
they're gonna be in their little chairs and doing their little
it
internet stuff with
depends.
faster Wi-Fi than everybody else.
It depends whether they're loyal to one coffee shop or what's closer to them, what's more convenient. You
Yeah.
know, here it seems a lot of people are
Pay for a
loyal
coffee.
to
But
Tim Hortons and all that, so
but
that may not sway them.
look at how many telecommuters are out there. Okay, people that just work online. Do social media for businesses and companies and so on, and work
Yeah,
basically online.
and a lot of
Um,
work can be done
and they
from
would, yeah,
your home.
exactly. But also they'd have better Wi-Fi at a Starbucks than at home. They would
Yeah,
want to
but
go
would
there to
it
do
be
the
a
work
good work
faster.
environment though? Think about it.
Oh yeah,
You're in
well,
you're in a no thing. I've never been in a quiet Starbucks. There's machines going, something
yeah.
spinning, people yelling, talking.
What
It's never
what
quiet.
what are on my ears right now? That's what it's called. Noise
Those
canceling
still don't
earphones.
help. Earbuds
It's
don't
mostly
do
good.
much, and
No,
you're gonna
not
have to need
earbuds,
some.
but noise canceling like
You're
the
gonna need some
Bose.
really good
Oh yeah, the Bose.
earphones,
Yeah.
and walking around with a computer, it's a risk to be walking around with a computer to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this, Starbucks is a good coffee shop. It's simple, it's quiet over there. It's easy. I think it's not loud or screaming people.
And maybe you've been to a different Starbucks than me, because one I've been to has never been quiet.
Business people who are spending a lot of money just for a cup of coffee, but I don't think that like the crazy people going to there because it's a lot of money for just a cup of coffee. So
Yeah.
most adults and quiet people. So
Yeah, I've never really been in, it's never really that quiet. And
So
it's not your own personal place. There's nothing familiar about it, really, unless you go to that Starbucks every day.
exactly.
Then it's gonna be
There's a lot
familiar. But
there's a lot of people that do.
it's gonna be more convenient to stay at your home to begin with. Because
Yeah.
sure, the Starbucks might be down the road, but you're gonna have to get in your car, get on a bus, walk there. So you're gonna have to commute there.
Well,
So
how about this? We'll see when we first get a Starbucks
So,
near
I-
us that has it. That has the 10 times faster Wi-Fi.
yeah, and
We'll see. We'll
you'll
see.
probably get it before me, because
Yeah. Yeah.
if you look at my name there, there's a Canadian
18
flag.
Yeah. 18 months. They said it's gonna take.
But yeah, actually before they had AT&T connections there as
Yeah.
well, which we don't have here in Canada. But Verizon is making the move into Canadian markets now.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I stuck with Verizon.
But I don't think it's going to sway people to go there. But I think what it will help for is, let's say somebody that is into business that's traveling. They don't have a home in the city or town or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe there isn't an office, just a little stop to do whatever they need to do, but they can probably do it on the plane too. So maybe that can help there. But I think for people that live nearby one, they could easily get internet themselves too. Sure, it might be free at Starbucks, but think about it. You have to get there first.
Yeah. The gas. Yeah. I didn't think of that. That's true.
So there's that inconvenience. You either have to drive there,
The
you have
drive.
to walk there, or get on a bus. Or if you really want to spend money, get on a taxi. I don't know why you do that, but if it's close. But you have to get there, and getting there costs money or time.
That's true. That's true. But like I said,
or take your bike or whatever.
let's say you're in college. Okay. You're in college, right? and every college basically has a Starbucks that you can walk to. Okay.
Yeah.
And you want to go online and you want to do a bunch of stuff online.
Well, I
or
think
maybe,
the
maybe work
university.
for,
I think the university here
Yeah.
actually has one in it.
And oh, that's good. But like I said, you want to go down there. The Wi-Fi and the internet connection at a college is not that great, and we've seen that firsthand.
Yeah, but it depends what college or university you're at
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that's true. But think of all the people that's going on the
For
Wi-Fi
sure.
there and the internet.
Yeah, and if it's near a university or college, then how busy is that Starbucks gonna be?
That is true. Yeah.
So you might run into the same problem there. And who's to say they might just stay in their car outside and do their work, but still be connected? So there could be other people that aren't even in the store on the connection. That really could bog it down.
Here's a proposition I'm going to make live here for Starbucks. Unlikely they'll ever watch this, but what if Starbucks goes ahead and puts a little section off to the side with comfortable chairs and little sofas and stuff, and like a little privacy wall or whatever, and anybody that wants to get on this 10 times faster Wi-Fi can just go over there where all the noise is canceling out and it's really quiet and cozy, and they could get on their 10 times faster Wi-Fi and do all their work. And think about it, it's going to take 18 months for this to become a thing possibly. So they might possibly have this little room where you could go into. They might do that.
So quiet room, you think? So would they pay a premium for that?
Yeah, well, I'm not. Well, they probably have to.
They have to make money somehow. It's going to cost money to build this thing to begin with.
Well, if you're at a Dunkin' Donuts for a couple hours, you're going to want a coffee. You're going to want a sandwich. You don't want to get up from your workstation or whatever and then go all the way down.
Jason, think with this. If they're going to do that, they're going to have to charge for it somehow because they have to pay for these renovations. They have to pay for this new furniture.
Yeah.
No, they can also do a little code on your receipt. When you're buying a cup of coffee, there's a code on your receipt to get access to the free Wi-Fi. That's so fast. So they can
that way you'd stop people from just coming in and but I could easily buy a bagel and
just nearby the Starbucks, enjoying the free Wi-Fi access.
It just sounds like a really big inconvenience for something like that. I mean, and Jason, you're saying, a quiet room, and you think that could be a incentive. Yeah. Jason, listen to this.
TikTok.
Pretty quiet, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So I already have a quiet room. So why would I need to go to a Starbucks to get that quiet room?
Listen to this.
One word, or no, 2 words. Well, a couple words actually. 10 times faster Wi-Fi.
But what if I already have fast internet?
What if you don't? Look how many people
you
don't
really
even
need
look,
10 times.
Look,
10 times faster than 1.5 megabits or something like that.
But up here in Maine, there's not very many people have internet access at all, or even Wi-Fi access anywhere in their town. I got three access points here in town that are open and are public.
Yeah, well, how about what's the city? You have cities in Maine, obviously, and there's probably going to be more connections there because
Well, Bangor, over in Bangor region, Portland, down south, there's a lot of population. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more.
And you got a lot of population above you too, because you got you got Montreal and you got Toronto and all that in that region too. That's Toronto's Canada's largest city, and it's not really that far from where you are. And you got Montreal and Quebec and all that.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of people here in Maine that have Wi-Fi. I mean, I know
and
about.
How do you figure that out?
Off the top of my head.
Jason, how do you figure that out?
Because I live here. I talk to people. I go out, and they don't have Wi-Fi.
Other than the people you talk to.
Yeah.
What you're doing now is you're representing everybody in Maine. So let's figure this out.
No, I'm speculating. I'm assuming that most people here in Maine don't have it because most of the people here in my town don't have it.
Yeah, but that's one town.
I go to the library. There's 10 computers all filled. And the Wi-Fi, there's 14 people sitting at the dang table with their laptop.
But that's your town, that's your library. Yeah. How about the other cities? The other cities, the other towns, municipalities,
I'm talking about population. There's more population down south, so there's going to be a lot more Wi-Fi areas. There's going to be a lot more of that. There's going to be a lot more internet access, and all that. Up here, there's not that many people up here. There's not many people up here, and and it's not north. It's hard living in the north of Maine. It's hard living for people around here.
Yeah,
So
I believe
they
you
can't.
about your town because
Yeah.
you know your town better than
Yeah.
I know your town.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I'm speaking more so about the rest of
The rest
state.
of Maine. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
your
I'm
town,
not.
yeah, fine, you probably
Yeah.
know your town. But how about the other towns, the other municipalities, the other cities, the other people in Maine? Because there isn't just however many people live in that
Yeah.
town. There's a fair bit of people in that town, and then when you speculate, well, you're representing things that you can't back up.
I'm representing the town of Maine. I'm not on the town.
But Maine's not a town.
I'm representing Livermore.
Okay. See, a few minutes ago you were saying, most people in Maine, see what I'm getting at there?
Yeah, I got you, Mr. Colter.
So if you're gonna say something, back it up. So I personally, I don't know how many people actually have internet connections in Maine, but it is surrounded by a lot of major points in North America. It's not like it's in the barren middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's places around it. But, for you, certain things might be far, but there's still things around.
Listen, I'm comparing Maine with other states, okay? Florida, I could go anywhere in Florida and get access.
But where did you live in Florida? Did you live in a small town?
No, I lived in a small town. I lived in a large town. Yeah. I've been to Daytona. I've been all up and down Florida everywhere.
Now, sure, these cities that you were in, granted, they most certainly would have.
Yeah, every town.
Yeah. Now, these towns, were these towns bigger than the town you're in now?
Some were smaller. I mean, it varies. No, some were big, some were small.
And were these towns necessarily, were these around other places too? Were they close to major cities? Were they close to fair-sized towns, services?
No, some were and some weren't. And some were by Daytona, the big cities, Tampa, and then some were off into Ocala, which Ocala has a big national forest where everybody goes camping, and you can get access up there as well.
Now, would you say that they're in the middle of nowhere? These towns.
Ocala is, yeah.
So how far away are we talking from these major services and big cities, stuff like that? How far away are we talking?
Oh, I don't know how exactly far it is. I mean, I didn't measure it with a tape measure.
No, I'm not saying measure a tape measure, but there's a unit called miles, right?
Yeah, I know, but I don't know how many miles it is. I don't know.
But
what I'm saying, I'm talking about the population in general up here in Maine has less Wi-Fi than most other states.
Yeah, in the places that you've been, though, is what I'm saying.
Yes, but you don't understand how many people up in Maine that are up north of me. Okay, I'm more south Maine, like middle to south.
Okay, tell you what, if you want to convince me of this, let's get some proof.
All right, well, that'll take some time to get some proof.
Because, like I said, what you're doing is you're talking about one place, and maybe a few other places that you've been to.
Yeah.
So that's why I have an issue with you representing, is basically you're making an educated guess about the rest of Maine.
Yeah, I am.
The rest of Maine could be very different.
Yes.
But I know what I'm talking about because, I've been here. My dad knows, like, basically everybody around here. Even people from other towns, from Leeds. I mean, the towns here in Maine are small, okay? The towns here in Maine are small, but when you go down south, they're big. Yes. All the towns up north, they're not populated like the southern regions. I'm saying the southern regions of Maine, yeah, you're going to get Wi-Fi access, you're going to get internet, but most of the people live up north. They don't all live down south because there's only like Portland and Bangor, like I said. There's not big like California or something like that.
Well, you keep going north, and then, like I said, you're close to other major places, of course, across the border.
But across the border, I'm talking Maine in general. I'm talking United States.
There's 1.3 million people according to a 2012 census in Maine. So representing 1.3 million people is pretty hard.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
you said you lived in Livermore, right?
Yes, Livermore Falls. Yes.
Hi, so let's look that up.
I just have a feeling, like I said, don't even say this is fact. I'm just speculating, like you said, and it's okay to speculate. That's what Future Tech Ideas is about. We're not here to provide facts.
In the year 2000, there was 3,227 people in Livermore Falls, and it's fair amount of people for sure compared to other places. No, not much, but
exactly.
That's 3,000 versus 1.3 million people of Maine.
Yeah, but
that's why I think making that assumption doesn't work. It's like me saying that I do this and this, therefore everybody else should.
Yeah, I can agree to that at a point, but like I said, I believe my belief is that many people up here in Maine do not have Wi-Fi access or internet access like Florida, like California, like Washington
Yeah,
State,
I
like all
agree.
the
These
other states,
states might be different, but
like New York City.
yeah, but it's not a fact.
Guys,
You don't have the proof.
And
But do
yeah,
I
I'm
agree
not.
that Florida probably
Yeah,
does? Yeah,
I'm
hands
not. I'm
down. Yeah,
not.
of course
Yeah,
they do.
I'm not here to. I'm not here to do facts. I mean, I'm here
Yeah,
just to talk and do speculations and have fun, and provide what I think. And what I think is Maine does not have internet access or Wi-Fi like everybody else does.
it's hard to say though, because
Yeah,
once again, we don't have
yeah,
numbers, we don't have
yeah.
statistics, we don't have anything.
But that's my personal feeling is that.
And
guys,
yeah, and
Shanghai, when I've got the Wi-Fi over there,
Yeah.
they've got like a system when you have your phone provider. They've got all free Wi-Fi hotspots through the whole city of Shanghai. So as a tourist, there was one place I had free Wi-Fi, and that was at the Apple Store. So when you're having a contract over there with a phone company or a provider, you've got a code and a password for the free Wi-Fi hotspots. So they've got a very the speed of it was so good of the Wi-Fi. It was very
Yeah.
fast and but as a tourist, we could only to the Apple Store to get free Wi-Fi. So,
I got a question for you, Erwin.
how bad it was.
Hey, you're a little referee in our discussion here. From what we've been saying here, what do you agree with, Erwin? Do you have a different point of view? Do you agree with Jason? Do you agree with me? What do you think?
And don't favor anybody. Just go with what you think.
Yeah, bottom line, what do you think? Honest. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear the question. What was it?
The question was, you've been listening to what me and Jason have been, arguing about here, right?
Yes.
Now, who do you agree with? Like, what do you agree with? Do you agree with what Jason's saying? Do you agree with his point of view? Or do you agree with what I'm saying? Or do you have a totally different point of view?
No, I'm going to you, Cole. Yeah, I'm sticking with you.
Mm-hmm. Why do you say that?
Just because you have to be on places with big cities around it for better Wi-Fi or better spots on it. So
For sure, yeah.
yeah, that's a big point of it. So
yeah, it's kind of like Jason's saying too, as well, because he's saying, Florida, as far as I know, has a larger population than Maine does. Let's see. As Florida's population is 19.32 million, so obviously it's a higher population density as well. But what I'm saying here is, these are assumptions. Now, with these two numbers, yeah, you can probably make an educated guess that there might be more internet there in Florida, but it's hard to say just because more people might not be more internet.
Montana has the lowest average speed of 2.5 megabits per second of internet.
Wow.
And think of the population in Montana.
Let's see what Montana's population is. Yeah, they're 1 million. So actually, it's not too much lower than Maine's. They're pretty much very similar population.
So we have crappy internet up here, basically.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there could very well be some people that do. It depends where you live in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you can't make the same assumption for an entire state, because there's going to be differences throughout the state. Sure, where you're at, you might have a different connection than what somebody further north might have. Somebody further north could very well have better internet, and somebody further south could have better internet. It depends on the infrastructure in the area, and it depends how much you pay for the service at the end of the day.
yes, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You think about
You're kind of bringing the light to my
And
eye.
when you think about it, these people that live further up north, it's not like the Great White North is just up there. There is other places up there. Sure, they're across the border, but they're there. In Quebec, you're very close to Quebec City. You're close to Montreal, and Ontario is a little ways away, but you got Toronto, Ottawa, and all that. So Eastern Canada, there's a lot of people there, and then the eastern part of the United States. It's where most of the Americans are. Like, sure, there's population in the West, but a lot of the population is more so on the East Coast.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But why, like, bringing in Canada and Quebec in with Maine? Are you saying like people?
I'm saying that you're not necessarily in the middle of nowhere because there is other places there, and they're really not that far to get to. You just don't have a criminal record and don't have the DUI.
Who would want to go over the border to get to internet access and all that?
Hey, some people cross the border every day to buy a newspaper.
Yeah, that's true.
So some people will, and obviously it depends where you cross. Some border crossings could be insanely busy, could be a long wait, so it depends where and what time you cross.
But they got the money to do that. They got the money to do that.
Yeah.
You got to have money to do that, and a lot of people.
So there's going to be some stuff up there too. It's not like it's the end of the road and nothing left.
Yeah.
So there's stuff there.
No. Yeah. There's houses and there's developments up there, but it's nowhere near Livermore Falls. I went to Skowhegan. I've been to Skowhegan, which is a little bit farther than north. I've been to Farmington, which is probably 40 miles, 30 miles from where I'm at now. But Skowhegan, I've been to. I lived there. I lived in Madison. You can pull up all these.
So basically, what you're doing is you're making an assumption on the places that you've been in that state.
And what I feel is that Maine does not have a lot of internet access.
The last time that I felt something, it didn't get me anywhere.
Yeah.
Facts got me something. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But what's good about it is we can do that. I can do that. You can do that. Or we can do that. Yeah. We could say what we feel.
Yeah, I'm just showing you a different point of view.
Yeah, and you want the facts.
Yeah, I guess what you're doing is, like I said, you're making a general assumption. Anyways, before we really do annoy each other, because we spent like half an hour on this topic.
That's good. That's good.
But that is my point of view. That's what your point of view.
Exactly.
Anyone that's watching this, if you agree with one of us, go ahead. But my point is, speculation. It may not be fact, and there's no stats, there's nothing to prove it. And that's my point. And Jason's point is, well, I've been to such and such places. But remember, you're representing 1.3 million people. That's my point. You can't represent 1.3 million people by 3,000.
No, that's true. But like I said, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic.
Okay, moving on. It is your topic.
Alrighty. The BMW i3. Now, this new hatchback is a 2014 BMW i3. It's kind of, people are on the edge. They're saying it's a nice car, oh yeah, and then they're worried about the looks because frankly it does not look too good. It's one of those futuristic cars that we're not ready for. But it does have some groundbreaking technology and design in it. I believe that we're not utilizing the space in the car. We're kind of just throwing the car together just because it looks good and say okay, that's done. Even if it takes up 2 or 3 foot of space, we're okay with that. Even though the waste of supplies and all that. But what BMW is doing is taking that into account. They went ahead and wiped out the little center, the center where the transmission is. They wiped that out.
Oh yeah, in the floor.
Yeah, it's a flat floorboard.
Oh, that's
weird. Wiping out, giving you more space, more leg room for your passengers and stuff and other stuff. They also went ahead and redesigned the dashboard as well. They got a LSD in there. It's an electric car now. And I know Cole Cooper has a lot to say on the electric car. I believe.
I got something to say in the design of the car itself.
It is a pretty funky looking car. I gotta admit that.
Yeah, I seen on it.
But the electric car, I believe, is the next, going to be the next big thing for alternative energy, basically. We're burning out of fossil fuels. I'm not saying we're burning out right now, but we're going through it over time.
Could happen, yeah.
Yeah, eventually we won't have it. So why not start getting away from fossil fuels now?
And for certain places, I think holding back on that change could totally destroy places in the future. Because here in Alberta, our economy is pretty much based on oil.
Yeah, oil.
So if the demand for oil were to disappear all of a sudden,
the economy would crash there.
Our economy would be done.
Yep.
But looking at the car itself, it kind of reminds me of a Chevy.
Yeah.
It really does. The front end looks kind of like a Chevy.
They got some
Other than the black hood in the picture and the BMW logo, it does. It looks like a compact Chevy.
They got some bashing for it.
Yeah.
But I like it's a futuristic twist. Okay.
Yeah, this two-tone color thing that they got going on, at least in this picture, I know I don't like that. They didn't do it right at all. Like, you see it on some older vehicles and it looks nice. This looks like crap.
So that's because of all the designs they put into it. BMW is all about style and
they have some nice cars.
And performance as well. BMW
for sure.
For good performance.
I'm not going to take that away from them.
Yeah.
But this car, it's in its development stages, obviously.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely.
And it'll probably grow on people eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but electric cars themselves, it depends on your climate because electric cars batteries in it, right?
Yes, and the performance.
Yeah, that too. And how well do batteries do in cold?
They don't do too well.
Right.
And that is why they're not. The North United States and Canada is not really targeted for this car.
Maybe Vancouver or something like that, or Seattle maybe.
Europe is more targeted. This is from BMW saying that they're targeting Europe more than they're targeting the United States because
that's where they're from too.
Not only the United States doesn't like the having an ugly car, but they also don't like having electric cars and got to recharge it every 100 miles. And I believe that's what it is, 80 to 100 miles between charges. But they're targeting it more towards Europe, like Cole said. That's what.
And Europe gets cold too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. China. Oh yeah. Absolutely. It gets cold.
Yeah. China's Asian, by the way.
My thoughts about it are
was done.
One side of it is like they are annoying because you can't hear them. So when
that is good. That is good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also bad because when you're crossing the street, it's like oh damn, it's like a car almost hitting you because you didn't hear it.
No, so, I meant bringing that up is good that you brought that up.
What I was going to bring up too is when you are in the batteries.
When you are in the car, it's like so good that there isn't any sounds of.
If it's too quiet, you could put the driver to sleep.
Yes, but it can be good or it can be Yeah,
put the driver to sleep. You're in big trouble.
That's a big scare factor.
What I was going to mention here though is along with the batteries, aside from the cold, how well do batteries do in heat? When it's extremely hot. The battery's probably going to get pretty hot, so you're going to have to cool it.
Yeah. I believe they're going to have coolers.
Battery blows up or something,
They'll probably have coolers in there to cool it down.
You're going to have some pretty good coolers, and they're going to have to get these batteries right, because when the Chevy Volt came out, what did GM do? They recalled them because of the batteries. They had exploding batteries or something like that.
But like I said, I think we should be gearing more towards alternative fuels now, instead of waiting until the last minute. Mm-hmm. Whether it be electric cars, and let's not judge it by the look. I mean, yeah, it looks ugly, but if it's gonna save the planet, or if it's gonna get us somewhere with very little cost, it's okay. If it's okay that the car looks crap.
I got a few things to mention.
Yes.
Now, we've been working on alternative stuff for many years, and I watched a documentary. I think it was called Gas Holes or something like that. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend that. But basically, what it showed is people in the 40s, actually, 40s is a stretch. I think it's like 50, 60-ish. What they do is they're able to get cars to go on like 100 miles a gallon or something like that.
Wow.
I don't remember what it was, but this thing could go a very long time. Now, what happened is that the oil companies didn't like that. Basically the whole idea was destroyed. Oil companies bought it, and the idea was put away, never to be heard about again. A few other ideas. Another guy tried the same thing with his car. Then one night after he did get it to work, there was people outside watching him. So he got scared for the people watching him. So like that car was dismantled, and something I just forgot to mention: the people that did originally come up with this idea, as far as I know, they're no longer with us.
Wow.
So that's an interesting thing. I think one of them was a drug overdose on the side of a highway or something like that.
That's disturbing.
Something like that. These people that were able to get these cars to go much farther than they can right now, and they were able to do this with it was some car 1940 something. It was some car they were able.
I heard of it before.
Yeah, it was some car from the 40s, and they were able to get it go that far through the hills and all that, and it was able to do it. And the oil companies quashed that idea. I think Shell or something had something to do. I'm not sure. The oil companies just quashed that idea, and we're basically the same place we were 40 years ago.
Just like the Tesla situation. I mean, we could bring that into the little topic that we have got here.
Yeah.
It kind of relates to it because
Yeah.
all the stuff that he produced is not being utilized because
Yeah.
it's not profitable. It's not.
And
profitable.
when companies come up with these ideas and they're not utilized, let's look at something that isn't car related, but look at Kodak. They came up with a digital camera in the 70s or something like that, and they decided to not go with the idea because they thought it would hurt their film business. And they eventually, many years later, the film camera did catch on. Where are they now? Oh wait, they're bankrupt.
Oh.
So maybe these oil
Rock
companies,
bottom.
whatever, should get on it so they can make the money now, so they don't go bankrupt in the future. Because eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah, but is that greed? Is that greedy? Not caring about what all this oil is going to be doing to the planet and the atmosphere, polluting the atmosphere and stuff, or
aside from, go ahead.
Or is it okay? Is it just okay? Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do that.
Well, here's the issue. These people, whoever they are, it's tomorrow's issue.
Yeah, moral.
So it is. By the time it becomes an extreme issue, then
we'll back off. Then we'll back off.
No, they won't be around anymore. Their kids will be dealing with it.
Exactly.
It may not even be them. It could be their kids.
But should we have?
It could be grandkids or whatever.
Should we put that responsibility on us to decide our kids' how their lives are going to be when they grow up? Having to deal with the stuff that we do in the past.
It would be quite the thing to deal with, and aside from rising sea levels from the melting ice up north and of course down south, apparently that'll release tons of carbon into the atmosphere as well.
Yeah, because
isn't that wonderful? So let's just speed up the greenhouse gases and speed up the greenhouse effect. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Like aside from all the CO2s that are being put in the air from the vehicles, the melting ice is also putting that into the air. So you're just speeding up this process, and if you look at a planet that has extreme, it has a greenhouse effect to an extreme. Look at Venus. It suffers from the greenhouse effect. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what happened there. The planet's about the same size as Earth as well, and it's pretty much a lava-filled wasteland. All because of the greenhouse effect.
Yeah, I wonder why, and what's going to happen with us.
Now, could that happen on Earth? Well, I don't know.
If we keep doing what we're doing.
But think about this. You probably have to go extreme.
Yeah, extreme, exactly.
But Venus is the same size as Earth. It's pretty much the same, very similar planet, except one's on fire and full of lava, and way too hot to send anything to, including humans. Well, one has life, water, and whatever. But life is fragile.
I believe it rains acid too sometimes.
Something like that, yeah, and it doesn't even make it to the ground.
Yeah. So I wonder what that would.
If your rain can't make it to the ground because it evaporates before it gets to the ground.
Yeah, you're not living on that planet, buddy.
I don't know.
Chicken.
I don't know if it was NASA or if the U.S. or Russia that did this. I don't remember, but I know one of them sent some sort of space probe to the surface of Venus. It only lasted a few minutes.
No.
And the fact that it only lasted a few minutes is pretty.
What the temperature, the surface temperature of that?
And I think it could be. I think some scientists have brought that up. It could happen here. Sure, the water would dry up, the plants would all dry up, and the life, as we know it, wouldn't be around.
All right, Richard Spence comments, anyone with a smartphone can tether their laptop and turn their space into a personal Wi-Fi hotspot.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He's reverting back to the.
If you have 4G, that would be good.
But also, don't you have to pay extra for hotspot? I believe because I had to with Sprint.
Not with every carrier. It depends on your carrier.
Yeah, don't get Sprint if you want free Wi-Fi or free hotspot because I had to pay. I think it was either $29.99 or $39.99 for.
I know here in Canada, I know you have to do that with Rogers.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think you have to do it with Telus. I'm not sure. And Bell, I have no idea. And then of course Verizon's coming to Canada, so that should be interesting.
Alrighty. Anything to say on that topic, Erwin?
No.
Remember, we're talking about the electric car. I almost forgot.
Yeah. we went off the planets and Jupiter and every planet in the solar system.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. That's what I love about it. We don't have one topic spawns another one, okay? But it's good to call ourselves back at some point and just get on with the other stuff that we.
Anyway, so we don't bore the hell out of the viewers. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We got the.
Yeah, I know. Topic 5.
Oh,
Anyways.
yeah, topic 5. Yeah.
Driver of Spanish train that derailed was apparently on the phone before the train derailed during the turn. Now, apparently what happened is the driver of the train that derailed last week, that killed 79, was on the phone with railway staff. Now, apparently they called him. Now, what they're saying is that call could have distracted him, and now what happened is he was on the track, and then he passed a point. He basically left the computer-controlled area into an area in which he would have to brake himself, not the computer. Now, if he was distracted on the phone, maybe he forgot the brake or something like that, and they're saying that may not have been his fault. But basically, that's what they're saying. And at the time of derailment, the train was traveling at 153 kilometers per hour or 95 miles per hour. So that's moving. And that's almost double the speed limit on that set of track, which was 80 kilometers an hour. So they were moving.
Is it right if I touch into this topic first?
Hang on a second, though. But basically, that's what they're saying is that that phone call may have distracted him, and because he left that computer-controlled area, the computer was no longer controlling the train. He was in control, and he wasn't able to brake. And he actually did brake seconds before the train derailed. So he did eventually brake, and the driver has been charged with 79 counts of homicide by professional recklessness, as well as an undetermined amount of injury by professional recklessness. So it's interesting to see. So some people are saying that it may not have been his fault if it was the phone call. Hard to say, though. But like I said, the train did brake seconds before it derailed at 153 kilometers per hour. Go ahead.
Okay. Now what they're saying is he's being charged with 79 counts of homicide.
Yeah, by professional recklessness.
So, but what about this whole distraction thing with the train operators calling him and distracting him? I thought
apparently
it was their fault as well.
The phone call was to discuss, I believe, something further ahead down the route. I think is what the phone call was about. But apparently they always have contact with whoever. But if it did distract them, maybe they need to figure something else out, right?
Yeah, 79 counts of homicide. Absolutely, they need to figure something out. Or
Yeah.
maybe they're just going to push it behind and just let the man go to prison or whatever, and just say, oh yeah.
Well, this guy, with his quote, he said that I don't remember the entire quote, but I've fucked it up, and
yeah.
he wished to die. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, because after killing all those people, absolutely, you wouldn't want to live with yourself knowing that you killed all those people.
For sure. And apparently he was one for speeding. He had 30 years experience, I believe, in the train. So he was experienced. It wasn't like he was a new guy on the job.
Exactly. There you go.
But something went wrong here, whether it was his error or distraction by the operators. Because remember, that's not he left that computer-controlled area. So it was up to him to brake.
But once again, why did he leave that controlled area?
Well, because he had to. On the set of track, the computer-controlled area ends, but he has to keep going. There's no other way to go. Either that or just derail right there. See what I mean? So remember, Jason, it's not like he could have just turned. It wasn't like it was like a four-way stop on a road. We'll just turn.
Oh yeah, we'll
it was a set of track, and you left that computer-controlled area because that's just what you do. And you're supposed to brake 4 kilometers away from that curve in the track, which he did not do, and he did. Like I said, he braked seconds before.
Yes, and he also admitted that when he saw the curve coming, that he knew we ain't gonna make it.
He knew, yeah.
He saw it coming, like...
Well, at that point, what can you do about it?
Exactly, you just gotta let it go.
There's nothing left that you can do.
Why the speed that allowed, so...
That speed, that's true.
What the fuck? Come on, man, he was going so fast. And
95, yeah, he was. He was going around a corner too, wasn't it? I believe it was a corner.
Yeah, it's a curve. Remember, there's a video. If you watch it, it comes around the curve.
Oh, it's terrible. I didn't. Yeah.
At 153 kilometers an hour, and there was a video of it, but train. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah. I've referred the video to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The train
I was like,
derailed in
holy
that
crap.
turn.
It's here in Europe on the news all the time.
Yeah, it's on the news here to an extent.
And have you seen the train guys from I thought it was Uruguay or
Uruguay? Spain?
any South American country. The guys from the railway, they filmed inside the cabins of the trains, and they saw the guys almost sleeping, texting, reading books when they are driving a train.
Like, see, with the train, it's on a track, you know, other than speed, there's not really too much, you know, I'm sure see things can go wrong, but...
What's around the bend? What's around the bend?
Yeah, a little too fast.
Yeah, going a little bit too fast, reading a book, not paying attention.
We need to get an expert in or something on this stuff, is what we need to do.
Investigator?
Yeah, so yeah, you get like an expert that knows stuff about this.
Yeah. Well, hey, it'll come to us eventually.
One day. Anyways, I think anything else you want to say on that topic?
Me?
You, Erwin.
No. We need to look into that more. But I'm afraid it might not be, you know.
Yeah, speed and distractions is what they're saying. That could be a factor on that one.
Yeah, it needs to be looking
They're saying
more
that the
who's
distraction of the phone call could have led to him not breaking before the turn.
I mean, they're still prosecuting him, so I mean.
Yeah, and I was still going through the courts, so.
Yeah, of course.
I feel sorry, man. I feel bad for him.
No, that's. I feel bad.
I mean, he didn't do it on purpose.
I feel bad.
We know of, yeah.
I feel bad for them all. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's tragic what happened.
79 people, women, children, babies.
For sure.
So yeah, let's go ahead and move on.
Moving on. Hey, Daniel Chong, forgotten in a DEA cell, settles suit for $4.1 million. A University of California student by the name of Daniel Chong was left in a holding cell, DEA's holding cell, for 5 days. During this time, he had to drink his own urine to survive. He tried to trigger the sprinkler system so he could get some water. Which he said in a CNN interview. He also tried kicking and yelling, kicking the door of the cell and yelling. But apparently he did hear voices, muffled voices on the other side, cells being opened and closed, but nobody responded. Remember, this is a concrete cell. There's no windows except for a little peephole in the door. Okay, and he's in there for 5 days with no food, water, nothing. And just insane. Now the cell also lacked a toilet as well. I'm sure that'd be the last thing on your mind during something like that. So the fact that he was able to hear people in the background and nobody responded to his kicking, yelling, it might kind of, I don't know, what do you say about that? It wasn't until April 25th that an agent found Chong. When the agent opened the door to the cell, Chong says that he was, and now before he was put in this cell. Now, he was at a house with some sort of party, he claims, okay?
Yeah.
Now, Chong says that he was at the house in which the DEA seized 18,000 ecstasy pills, marijuana, prescription drugs, and hallucinogenic mushrooms, and several guns and ammunition. Chong says he was at the house smoking marijuana. He said in a CNN interview that it was like a party. He also said that he was there to celebrate marijuana. When asked whether he was aware of the other drugs in the house, Chong responded with, "Absolutely not. Well, I knew about some stuff, but definitely not that stuff." Chong was never charged for anything, and his lawsuit was settled for $4.1 million. When asked what he intends to do with all that money, Chong said that he planned on buying a home for his family and saving the rest for retirement.
I think when you were talking about marijuana, Jason and I are the experts about that.
Okay.
My thoughts on this, I believe I'm happy the guy got this lawsuit settled. I'm happy for this, but it also goes to question the process that we deal with our so-called people that were prosecuting our criminals and stuff. This guy really wasn't a criminal. He was at that party. He didn't know what was going on. Okay.
Well, remember he was. Remember, it says that he was at the party smoking marijuana, and
yeah.
Since they seized it, I'm gonna say that it was probably illegal.
He did not know there was guns there or ecstasy.
That we know of. That we know of. He may not be telling the truth. I don't know. We don't really know.
Yeah.
But he very well could have. He may not.
Yeah.
So if he didn't, then it's either way. Even if he had leaving himself for 5 days, no food, no water, no nothing. Forcing him to drink his own urine, and so on. It sounds like a terrible situation.
And then carved sorry mom in his wrist.
And I believe he lost 15 pounds, and he was facing kidney failure at the end of it.
I'm happy that he got that lawsuit settled, because to go through that for a DEA accident or official accident, like oh, we'll just go ahead and put him in here and not worry about him.
Well, I can understand arresting him. I can't understand
absolutely.
I can't understand leaving him for the next 5 days, no food, no water, no nothing. In a little, I think it's 5 by 10 foot cell or something like that. It was.
Question
no food, no water, no toilet, no nothing.
Yeah, question him. Do what you have to do. Doesn't take that long to question him and get the investigators in there and find out the truth, and then
and nobody responded. Yeah, nobody responded to his kicking and yelling, although they were nearby.
That's obviously done purposely. They've done that on purpose.
Now, it could be because they've seen this stuff before, because I'm sure they put some people in these cells and they kick and yell.
Yeah,
maybe that's why. So they may just be used to something like that.
Yeah, and maybe the reason why there's no toilets and all that in there is because for the attempt of suicide.
Well, apparently he still has shoelaces, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe they're not too concerned about that.
Yeah.
Although, apparently he did think he was going to die, and you know what? I think if he was going to be there any longer, he may have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 15 pounds.
Already kidney failure and all that.
Yeah. I'm just happy that he got the settlement. I mean, if he's innocent or guilty, if he really was there and knew all about what was going on, if not, they still shouldn't have done that to him. They still shouldn't have left him.
Nowhere in the justice system, as far as I know in the U.S., does it say leave suspected criminal in cell for the next 5 days with no food, no water, no nothing.
Inhumane.
Yeah, remember, this is the U.S. We're not talking about a third world country.
Yeah, we're not.
In a third world country,
Guantanamo or anything
I still wouldn't support it, but I could see it happening.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I could see it happening in other countries.
Yeah, and that's like wow. Like, it sounds like he's got the right priorities with his money. He wants to save it for retirement.
Absolutely, and he's generous. I mean, helping out his family as well.
Yeah.
So it goes to question: is that guy really?
Hang on though. He didn't necessarily. I'm not sure if he means by family as in his parents, or family as in he has, let's say, a wife and a kid.
Wife and kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean. I think it's geared towards his mom and his family, because he said sorry mom before he died. So I believe he went ahead and helped her mom.
Well, he didn't die.
That's what I believe. Yeah, well, I know, but he said sorry mom. He was thinking of his mom. So now that he's alive, he's got this money, so he's going to help out his family, which probably means his mom.
He thought he was going to die, and I guess he was. I watched a CNN interview with Aaron Burnett.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So ask some questions there, and the conditions that he described just sound terrible. Erwin, what do you think of this one?
Did he seem guilty to you? Did he seem like he was?
I'm
lying
not sure on this one. He looked presentable. He didn't look like a rough type person. It's hard to say.
Or flustered? Was he flustered with the questions and?
I think on that one question here, if I read the quote to you again, let's see. When asked whether he was aware of the other drugs and weapons in the house, Chong responded with, absolutely not. Well, I knew about some stuff, but definitely not that stuff. So what was that some stuff?
Marijuana.
Yeah, but that could be just it. There could be other things he knew about.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be marijuana. It could be.
He also said in the interview that this is common in college or something like that to do. Apparently, it was a celebration of marijuana.
Oh yeah, it is a common thing with colleges. Marijuana. Yeah, absolutely. You could even ask everyone that.
But of course, remember, according to the article there I read, they seized 18,000 What was it? Let me check. Blah blah blah. 18,000 ecstasy pills, I believe.
Yeah, and ammunition.
That's a hell of a lot.
Oh heck yeah, yeah it is. Oh man, 18,000. I wonder how much that's worth.
Who knows? Is it Erwin? We got anything else to say on this?
It was a drug raid, so obviously they knew there was stuff there. They knew they targeted him for a while, so.
Yep. They might as well end this off now. So Jason, I think you.
Oh no,
the
yeah, we got
app of the week. Picture of the week. Yeah.
You got the picture of the week, and I got the.
You distracted me from doing it. I never did do it.
That's okay. You can just pull it up.
And I got the picture here, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah.
I
pull it up.
gotta remember who sent this picture in. So yeah, everything else organized except this.
Yeah, that's all right. No problem. You did an awesome job.
Let's see here. I checked the site here. Who
And
sent that image in?
Did they provide
okay, this picture was apparently sent in by someone called Android Army.
They didn't provide a name or anything?
No, it just says Android Army, so we'll just pull up the picture.
I think I get their email. Maybe I could get their email. I don't know.
Well, I'm putting it up right now, so.
Okay, yep.
Well, that's unfortunate. Okay,
What is it?
Hang on a second.
Hey,
This is gonna be.
want me to go ahead and do it? I can pull it up.
No, I can do it. Don't worry about
it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll just do this. Yeah, I know what I'll do. I've done it this way before. Alright, here we go. Now I think I'm ready. Go back here. Google Hangout, screen share. Alright, so here's a picture of the week. I'm not quite sure what kind of flower this is, but apparently it was sent in by somebody that calls themselves Android Army. So here is the picture. Here's some sort of yellow flower. Jason, can you see that?
Here it's called flower.
I do not see it for some reason. Let me yes, okay, there I see it.
Yes, it's some sort of yellow flower. It doesn't specify what kind of flower it is, but that is the picture of the week. If you want to send more pictures of the week, you can tweet them at us, comment them on the site, send them.
Yeah, I wish I knew what type of flower that was.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious too. I don't know.
Yeah.
We call it a butterflower.
It looks like a popcorn, like a piece of popcorn.
Here you got a butterflower.
Oh, it's called butterflower?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got it right there. Everyone's got it. Yep.
You know, I don't know. That looks like a different flower.
No, it's
that does look similar because
it's similar, but this flower is bigger. The petals are different.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Anyways,
I'm gonna try to get an email. I'm gonna try to get that email from him.
Yeah, maybe we can update you. Make sure to send that stuff in. Anyways, Jason, your segment.
Okay, the deal of the week is the Western Digital My Passport 1 terabyte. If you have Prime membership, this is $65.21. If you do not, it's $84.99. It's available on Amazon. We'll provide a link in the description below. It's 1 terabyte. They also have upgrade options up to 2 terabytes, as well as down to 320 gigabytes. They have the availability for a black cover, a blue cover, a red, or a silver color. It's got the automatically backup, which is awesome. Automatically backup software. I recommend backing up all the time, as does everybody else in this hangout here. Data transfer rate on USB up to 5 gigabits per second, 2-year limited warranty. And it's a sleek, compact design. And I do admit, I would definitely get this. Alrighty. So any thing you guys want to add to that?
Close this out.
Yeah. No. What type of backup drive do you have, Cole? Do you have a regular hard drive or is it external?
Digital.
Okay. Oh yes, digital. Go on digital.
I got a external drive myself.
Oh okay. Yeah. What is it? Is it a Western Digital or is it a?
Yeah, Western Digital, and then I got two of them. Western Digital and Seagate.
Nice. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and shift over to the
end of the show, is it not?
Nope, cool app of the week.
Oh, alright, here we go then.
Yeah. It ain't ending yet. Cool app of the week is My Country, available on iOS, Windows, and Android Store. Why play My Country? Well, simply because it's awesome and it's absolutely free. It's brought to you by Game Insight. They have different versions of My Country. They're all free, I believe. They got My Country HD. They got 2020 My Country, which is also basically a more futuristic version of building a country. They got futuristic buildings and stuff like that. And then brand new 3.0 edition, they have the online functionality, which I'm glad they brought that. They include summer, sports, world tour add-ons as well, which is really cool because you could go into different little countries and like little environments, ecosystems. Like, you know, you can go to the beaches and stuff like that, like you're in Hawaii or you're in like mountains in China. So yeah, this game is a lot of fun. Like I said, it's available for Android, iOS, and Windows, which is really good. And it's been quoted best app ever by My Country Addict. And no wonder why, because it's available for Android, iOS, and Windows, all three operating systems, which is awesome. So yeah,
Windows Phone or Windows PC?
I believe it's for both. Windows Phone,
And
Windows
Surface
Phone,
tablets, we covered there too in Windows RT.
What's that? I can hear you.
You covered on Windows RT as well?
No, I don't think so. Let me see.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Check it out.
Well, hey, it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna do another video, a full review on it, a little bit gameplay as well.
Alright, so anyone that's interested in that, make sure to check out his review on that.
Yep.
Is it going to Jason Goyette, your own channel, or is it the future check ideas?
Future Tech Ideas.
Okay, I believe that is the actual end of our broadcast, is it not?
Yes, finally, we did go over time again.
Oh, yeah, we're only 26 minutes over though.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna let
over.
Erwin do his piece, and then Jason, you can go, and then I'll do the last. So Erwin, your final word.
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys check out our Twitter. Check out the YouTube channel, Future Check Ideas. So keep going on that, and share the word.
Thank you, yes. Like you said, check out Future Tech Ideas on Twitter, Future Tech Ideas on Facebook, all one word, so it's very simple there, and the Future Tech Ideas on YouTube. Also, check out futuretechIdeas.com. Cole Cooper?
Alright, anyways, that's the end of our broadcast. Thank you for watching. Cole Cooper, as you know, you can follow me on Twitter at CK270. Check out my website at ccooper.wordpress.com. There I'm going to be publishing a short story sometime soon in the near future. I think you're going to like it. I know Jason is eager to see it, but I'll have that up here shortly. And thank you for tuning into the live broadcast. You can follow at Future Tech Ideas on Twitter, as well as our official Twitter account, Future Tech Ideas. Like us on Facebook. I think we're on Google Plus too, so +1 us or follow us or something like that there. And that is the end of our broadcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll be right back here next week at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 Eastern. Thank you so much for watching.
Wait, England or somewhere, and implement that into somebody who's visiting England from the United States, and then that person goes back to the United States and then does something because they have a false memory.
Well, listen here. Basically, that could be a weapon of war.
Yes,
much like biological weapons are, and guns and missiles. Maybe back in ancient days, cannons, arrows. It's just a better and better way, and it's a really simple thing. It sounds like obviously it's kind of hard to do what they did, but they're going to eventually perfect it. Everything starts out rough, and it gets better.
And it builds up over time.
Look at the first automobile, and look at the current ones. Look at the first TV. Look at the current TVs. Everything has to start somewhere, and it gets progressively better over time. And the same thing could very well happen with this. Although depending on how it's used, it may not be better. Better in one sense, but worse in another.
Exactly. Good and bad.
Do you think it is a technology that we actually need, Jason?
Absolutely not. We do not need it. We do not need it. Absolutely not.
Like maybe for treating post-traumatic stress and disorders like that.
But at the moment, with our government and the secrecy and the way mankind is now, the violence, violent behavior we have.
It's in our nature to be violent.
Yeah, but I mean, think of how they could use that now.
For sure.
I mean, I'd bring that into the society or the civilization later on when we're more refined, if you will, of a human species. If we're more refined and more intelligent about using technology that could possibly kill us, instead of just going about, oh yeah, I'm just going to go and do this or do that with it. And
well, yeah, like look at the drones there in the Middle East. They'll kill 300 civilians to get one terrorist.
Yeah, exactly.
How is that good?
How is that logical? That is not logical.
Those 300 civilians you just killed didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
They're innocent people,
but
they justify that with the one terrorist.
Unbelievable.
So
Unspeakable is what it is.
and then obviously the U.S. for a lot of people in that part of the world isn't very well liked. I
Oh,
wonder
absolutely.
why.
Yeah. Maybe because we create devices and technology, things like this, like controlling our minds
The
and erasing
drones,
our.
sure, it's a safe way to do it for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, you're not having the casualties that you would if you actually sent the people in. But is it morally responsible? Is it right?
No. I believe it's.
Hello, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are, everyone. It's the second episode for FTI Current Events. I said hang live stream. So we're going to be talking about current events in the stream, and as well, I'm Cole Kruper. You can follow me on Twitter at CK270. We got a bunch of interesting stuff to discuss in this hangout here today in the next 60 minutes. So, Jason.
Hi guys, I am the owner of Future Tech Ideas, Jason Goyette. You can follow me at Jason Goyette on Twitter. Also,
Erwin?
be sure to check out Future Tech Ideas.
Erwin?
So hi guys, I'm Erwin. I'm from the Netherlands. You can find my Twitter down below. I'm the FTI team member. So let's start it.
Okay, so let's jump into this here. So I guess we're just going to the topics now, I guess. So first thing in the news is scientists were able to create false memories in the brains of lab mice. Now, in a recent development, scientists were able to create false memories in lab mice. The researchers were able to use a technique that activated neurons in the brain to train the mice to remember a painful experience in a different way than it actually occurred. So basically, they created false memories, and the brain then treated these false memories as real, true memories and stored them in the same place. Now that this is now a possibility with mice, how long before we can do it with humans? Now this does set a little bit of a milestone. It does give you an idea of how you could do it with humans, although we already do have false memories, which has been shown in court cases and stuff. And if you paid attention to that. Now, basically what they did is last year, before they did the current study this year, what they did is they had mice in one chamber, and they shocked their feet, okay? And then they were genetically engineered with certain cells, they were neurons that were light sensitive. So then what they did is they put them into a second chamber and shined a blue light on the cells. The mice then reacted as if they were in the first chamber. Now, this year, what they did is they put mice into the first chamber, allowed them to explore, do whatever they needed to do without any shocks, and then they were transferred to a second chamber in which they were shocked, and then they had the light shone on them as well. Then when they were returned to the first chamber, they acted as if they had been shocked in the first chamber. So they believe that because it's a false memory.
Yeah, but
go ahead, Erwin.
Yeah, let Erwin go ahead now. What are your thoughts on this, Erwin?
don't forget that technology goes far, and I don't think that we even know how far they are. Like, if they can do this, like take false memories into mice, that goes far, right?
Well, what else can they do is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
What else haven't they told you, right?
They can be so far right now, and with those things that I don't think that we can imagine what they can do.
Yeah. And think about this. Now, in the 90s, cloning humans was made illegal, and who's to say somebody didn't try it? They could definitely do things and not tell you about it, even though they aren't supposed to. And false memories.
Creating these monsters, these weird little monsters that we've never seen before, that all of a sudden appears on the beach or whatever.
Yeah,
Montauk monster, the Montauk monster.
And it does have its uses in humans, and they're eventually going to have to test it in humans, and some people are going to say that, hey, this isn't right. And that's the same thing that happened with cloning humans in the 90s, because they said, is this humane? Because you're cloning humans, but are the clones still humans? What are they going to do with the clones? I think they were going to kill them. So obviously, some people said, no, that's not humane, and that's why it was made illegal in the 90s. But it could still be done. Scientists, they have a lot of power, a lot of resources at their hands. So
absolutely.
If they can make false memories, what else can they make, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. Yes. What else are they doing that they're not telling us?
Oh, I totally agree with them. Yeah. Like, how did they get to this point? Like, they come up with, let's make false memories today. Like, what do you think that could be used for in society? Like, what could they use that in a real world application? Jason?
For good or for bad?
Let's start with good, and then we can look at the bad side of that. So, what do you think they could do with it?
For
In
good, I believe a traumatic past event, like say something happened in your past and it's very traumatic to you and it caused you depression, they could maybe make that experience, totally different and allow you to not live with that experience or not have that memory of that experience. Because there's a lot of stuff that people will have a hard time getting over, and being able to wipe that memory out and replace it with something good, I think that's a good application for that.
Yes, yes.
For sure. Erwin, what do you think they could do with it that could have a good app? We're able to create false memories in mice, and that could be something that could lead into creating false memories in humans. But as I said, it can as well happen in humans naturally as well. Which you do see in court cases, some people do believe that they have seen something, heard something that never actually happened because they seen something else at the same time. It led them to believe that when something else actually happened. So Jason, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts is this topic, this whole experiment with the brain and changing your memory is very scary, and to talk about it, it just sends goosebumps up my spine, because for it to be able to introduce it into the human brain and be able to do this, I mean, frankly, I believe this could be possibly happening right now as we speak. It could be happening already. We just don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, like that story you published a while ago about having a dream about something, and the kid wakes up and realizes it was only a dream and it wasn't real, and then come to find out it was real, and he gets freaked out about it. But
yeah,
I mean, that's similar. It's kind of like you have a dream that really happened, but you think it didn't happen. Like, it's like a false dream or something. Mm-hmm. Like you wrote there in your little story. But yeah, it freaked me out when you sent this article to me. I was like freaking out about it.
Yeah, and what it does is it sets a precedent for what you could do with humans.
Yes.
You very well could do that in humans. Where do these studies usually start on? They usually start with lab mice, rats,
and then go up
pigs, cows, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They test on those, and then they work their way up to bigger animals and eventually to humans.
Yeah.
So it could very well eventually happen in humans, and if that it does become a possibility, and that technology and ability does get into the wrong hands, imagine where that could go.
Imagine the implications of that. I mean, being able to create a memory, like say you have a good memory, or say you have a memory of, okay, say somebody, I'm going to go into a little conspiracy realm here real quick, but say somebody's out, just sitting, and all of a sudden there's a bomb goes off, and they can't find the suspect. So they go ahead and just create a false memory in somebody who's sitting off to the side, and it makes them look like they're the person who set the bomb off, because they have a false memory of them actually going in there and doing the bomb when they really didn't do it.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is it could put the wrong people in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Which already happens without false memories, and like I said, false memories do occur naturally.
Absolutely.
It has happened in the past. It does come out in court cases quite often. In some cases, it makes some people's testimony totally useless in society.
Yeah, well, what Jason said, it's really true. I'm going with Jason that when people have bad times or just have awful memories about the past, if you can remove that, then yeah, that would be good. But the bad things about it are...
We'll get into that in a minute here. We'll come back to that. What I'm going to say here now is, so basically you're saying it can help with things like post-traumatic stress, people coming back from, let's say, a war or something.
Yeah, maybe, yes.
A traumatic event even at home.
Yes, that would be a good thing to use it for.
For sure. Now, I totally agree with you on that one. There's a lot of good things that you could do with it. Like dealing with post-traumatic stress or something traumatic in somebody's life. But there's probably a lot of bad things you could do with it, and Jason did touch on that a little bit with saying that they could implicate somebody in a crime or whatever when they didn't actually do it, but their mind tells them that they did do it even though they didn't. So, Jason, actually, no, let's start with Erwin. Erwin, what do you think on that one? What could be bad?
Yeah, that could be a thing that could, maybe work for criminals, but if they just keep the technology with the government, then they maybe can hack it, but I don't think that shouldn't give the technology away. Also,
yes, absolutely. I agree
but who's to say the government would use it correctly? Because a lot of people don't have very much faith in their governments.
Yes.
It would be on the black market in a heartbeat. That technology would be right just like that on the
And
black
then you got a
market.
huge problem.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
guns, you're supposed to register them and such,
Yep.
but there's a lot
Look
of
at all
people
the
that
gun.
don't.
Yeah, look at all the guns out there that are
And
unregistered.
there's 300 million guns in the U.S., and that's just registered ones.
Yeah, registered exactly. That's way too many, I believe. But I'm not saying we should get rid of guns. I'm just saying that we should follow the laws and abide by them. But there's people always out there that are never going to do that. So to bring something like this technology into play, into real world applications, is something very, very big and very scary. Because who's going to get a hold of it? I mean, what if one of our enemies, overseas gets a hold of it?
Oh yeah,
They're probably going to make something of their own eventually. But what if they get a hold of it, and start using it on us or using it on visitors? Okay, they go ahead and send somebody over to